Hey, welcome back to Made of Wires, where we're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You can go to soten.z.dev to learn more about this project and like and subscribe to learn more. We're working on the Olrox boss fight, which is BO0. We're going to keep working on that today. Yesterday we found some things related to the sealed door. Hey, Guest 73, good to have you. I found one more match while looking at what was remaining, and so I think basically for Olrox we're going to be left with a single file after today's stream. Due to various life things, I probably will not be streaming the rest of the week, and probably not streaming next week either, so I hope everybody has a great 4th of July. And if you're in another country other than America, you've seen how all the people coming from around the world love our country, so you should celebrate the 4th of July too. Take off work, say, hey, we all love America. The week after that I'll be back to a somewhat normal schedule. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, so let's get back to Olrox. I'm going to do a little more just overlay management type stuff to start, and then we'll see if there's time at the end to get anything else done. So I mentioned that I found some other things. Let's look at what is in my stage changes, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So yesterday we were working on a function that ended up being sealed door, and so I did move this to sealed door and moved NO2's sealed door to a shared file, and so the BO0 or Olrox boss fight now uses the same NO2 sealed door. There's actually already a sealed door file, but NO2's implementation is different, and it's different enough that I thought combining them would kind of overcomplicate and make that function a little more complex than it needed to be. And so since it already wasn't shared between the other stages that have a sealed door, I decided that I was going to just make it NO2 specific one, and then we can share that for now. And if somebody wants to go back later and refactor that again, then they can do that. The other thing that I found, the smaller file that was remaining, it had 5 or 6 functions, I can't remember which, ended up being a file called eSecrets, and that also is in NO2. And so we're going to work on making that identical to the NO2 version. We'll do it a couple different ways, and then combine those into one file, and then, like I said, we'll see what happens after that. So that's what we're doing. I haven't been working on decomp much really outside of the stream, so last night I did work on it a little bit, and when you get some dedicated time where you're not having to walk through everything you're doing, sometimes things go a little faster. But let's get into it. I'll show you what I got, and there's some complexity here, which is interesting, and maybe not in the way that you necessarily expect. So let's get into it. Source boss BO0 eSecrets. So some of the functions, and I haven't checked them all, but some of them just fell in. They didn't have any external. I can't make that static. They didn't have any external dependencies. Didn't reference global data at all. They are pure as, for the most part. This one references a global, but it's a well-known named global. So there was nothing that needed to be done. So we have a few more. I haven't gotten these to match yet. We'll try to do some of it without decomp.me, and then we may have to go to decomp.me. I couldn't get them all to match. It doesn't match perfectly. So we do have to see what might be causing some of those issues. So let's go look at the NO2 eSecrets. And what I'm going to try to do, I haven't the first one I couldn't get to match with just updating the globals. I'm going to try the second one and see if that one does match. It's possible that there was something else I missed, but we're going to need 2 globals. And we just need the references to those, and I actually know where those are and was able to find those pretty easily. VO0 data E secrets. It's going to be in data. It's these 2 here. We'll grab those names. And so we need the declarations. It's probably faster if I just type it. We don't want them static, we want them to be extern. Because at the moment, we're not linking these directly in. They're coming from a different object that gets compiled outside of this C file. And so it's not just enough to name those, we also need to know how they are used and where they're used. So we'll have to deal with that as well when copy this over. So we're going to copy this function over, assuming that it's implemented the same way. I don't know for sure that it is, but we're going to assume that it is. There's some things that may make it not line up perfectly. And then we're going to replace the references that we have to NO2's symbols with the ones that we have for BO0. Ooh. We'll see if this works. I don't know that it's going to work, but we'll see. I don't think... Okay, so we did get some undefined reference to... so this function is calling the top function, so we do need to update that reference. And it didn't work. So there's something else that's different about this function between the 2 versions. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it here the way that it is. I'm going to redo my... I actually undid my thing. And so we'll go to decomp.me and see what the difference is. We can do a diffboss. Diffboss is a script that will compare the original binary to our binary, but something happens along the way, and it's big enough that it shifts everything by about 64 or so bytes. So something pretty significant. So let's go find what that is. It could be something else. It could be that I screwed this up in other ways. We'll see what the problem is. Hey Anj, good to have you. And I forget what function this is. It's going to be the second, though, I think. It's this 54C function. It is not, it is the FEO function. Alright, so let's go over and start decomping. We're going to create a new scratch and then use the original as the starting point, because we want it to be as similar as possible, because if we do have to have some conditional compilation between the NO2 version, Olrox's Quarters version versus Olrox Boss Fight version. We want those to be as similar to start with as possible. And while that's going, I'm going to go copy this. I don't know why. Here we go. Most of this I'm not going to worry about. The only function that matters for having a prototype available is this 9EC. The other one shouldn't matter. Looks like we're missing a entity extension. Let's go grab that. Sorry. You didn't see any of that, but that's okay. It's common decomp.me stuff. So we're going to go to Entity, and we're looking for Breakable 2. Breakable NO2. We'll throw that into our entity extension. Get rid of the, I don't want to reorder the fields. Breakable NO2. Decomp.me is going a little slow. Let's see if there's any other. We have E-Intense Explosion, which isn't defined yet. Now, if Decomp.me is going this slow, we may have to pivot. E-Intense Explosion should be 6. And I think that will round out everything else. So we just have to wait for Decomp.me to come back and then keep going. So while that is spinning, it's the fun of doing things live. You never know what your external tooling is going to do. We can keep those declarations, I think. So it should remain the same for now. Let's make sure that this is building properly. And then let's try the next one. Which is the last one, C94. I did try this one as well, and that one didn't work. So let's go back. Decomp.me has done its thing, 80.8%. So where is the issue? Usually this means that there's some case or other thing like that that just isn't present in the other one, or maybe some logic, like maybe the sound effects aren't there, but it looks like, and this is my guess, is that this case 1 isn't here. And there's a few minor things elsewise. Let's look at the decomp. This is gonna go slow. This is the way it is. So we have to decide, I guess, is case 1 missing, or is there something else going on? But the main thing is that this code actually isn't part of Olrox at all. While this is going, I'll keep it in the background. I do need to also get all this set up for the PSP. I already have e-secrets set up, and let's see if I have data. We don't have data yet, so we must go find the data. It is between Sealed Door and Owl Night. So probably around this 3E9DO area. And it's not the overlay. So we have 25,000 lines in here. Let's go look at some example data. Things like the 44E, 044E is probably pretty good. You look, this FFF 8000 is not bad either. Let's see if we have that. I would have expected that to be there. Okay. Let's do a grep and see. $34870. I might just be looking in the wrong place. That looks good. And actually, what is... Oh, this is much too big as well. So we don't have much data here. We only have about 124 lines. So the last thing it's going to end with is a 4AC. So let's look for that. But it does look like this 34870 is where it starts. And my guess is that it is here that we're ending, that this 0 and this 0, these are padding. And then this 3498C is actually the next block of data, and it just belongs to something else, but it's never referenced. And so how would that work? Because the PSP will call data that isn't used. So it's possible that this is actually part of this, and just not present on the... I don't think PSP can have unused data. I think it's stripped. So unless this is referenced from somewhere else, we'll have to see. So my guess is 3498C is where the split is. Let's go with that for now. Hey, Heavy Metal Mixer, good to have you. So we ended up with just splitting that caused an issue. And my guess is that it's related to padding. What was our... So 34980 is exactly where the difference was. We're getting 8 bytes of padding, and here we only have 4 bytes of padding. So we can't split there, but we can split at 8.8 actually. And does that work? Let's look at the... It should work, actually. That should be fine. Let's see if that works. That does work. Okay. So let's try to... I was having trouble getting this data imported into the PlayStation version, but the PSP version should actually be a little bit easier, or the PSP version should be easier. Because the PSP doesn't invent symbols that don't actually exist. So we do need the names for these. I'm gonna have to change how I'm doing this. All of these things are too far away. There we go. And so what I like to do when I'm doing this is just kind of clamp down on this data, import it bit by bit, updating the offsets as I go along. And then I can change this to dot data as I go. And this should work as long as the data is the same. And it did work. So I'm happy about that. And we'll go through the PSP side and just import all of the data. And then when decomp.me comes back up, we should be good to keep going. And that should make working on the PlayStation one a little easier as well. All right, so we need the next two variables, which are this one, fb0. And F98. And then we do the same thing. Move this down to 3, 4, 9, 4, 8, and then we're going to be a little stuck actually. Because we need, so we're doing that. We need this string to come from the function. So let's see where timer is coming from. It is coming from this next function, and pretty sure that that is not going to be correct for this version of the game. Let's see if things are working a little better with. Well, I'll try refreshing. Maybe this just timed out. Oh, and it could be that decomp.me doesn't think I'm a human. See if this goes a little faster, and we can start the PSP one while we're waiting. Yeah, it's a bad day for Decomp.me. Okay, okay. Unfortunately, we may be sunken. That's okay. We can do something slightly different if that's an issue. Have I ever used Ghidra? Yes, a little bit, mostly for exploration. I have watched other streams where Ghidra is being used kind of as a starting point for re-implementation and project management. I've never used it that way. I've just used it as kind of a browser to view and as a decompiler. And yeah, mostly for reading, never for building something. It's probably reasonable for that, but some of it I just never figured out well enough to use effectively. I did have the IDA guys reach out to me a couple months ago, and they I ignored them, and then they ignored me, and we never got together to do anything. I was hoping to try IDA and was interested in its MIPS support, but I think for most people working on Decomp for games and just as a hobby, IDA is probably too expensive. It's too expensive for me to justify, especially since many of the other tools are just so good. Oh, good. We have something here, finally. So let's go down to case 1. And yeah, this is kind of what I thought. Case 1 is quite a bit different. Oh, just different in general. So case 3 does work. So let's do this. If ndef boss is bo0, we need to make sure that we're defining that in our context. And it looks like decomp.me might be back. I don't think I'm going to copy the blocks over, so there's a couple things here that we'll have to fix, but we'll use this as a starting point. Any of the arg0s are going to become self. And yeah, things are still going slow, so we'll wait for it to come back. But that is considerably different from the original. And how is our PSP version looking? We have something. We'll have to do the same thing here. So our context, we're going to have to add our entity extension. And fix the primitive. And this is gonna spin for a while again, so we'll go back over and see if there's anything else we can do over here. So basically we're trying to get this the remainder of this secrets data. Oh, I didn't do that correctly, did I? Which ended here 3988. We need to keep this one here. We need to keep that separate. It's unclear to me how, or so it seems like nothing is referencing this other data. Which is a small problem. It's possible that it is part of this other data, but it might not be. Let's see where this next variable is referenced. Could be part of Olrox, but I really think that it won't be compiled in. This is not directly referenced either. It is there does seem to be a pointer to it, however. C. Okay, well, when we get this cleaned up, we'll figure out what might be going on there. And how's decomp.me doing? We have a compilation error. This may take a while to get through. And it caught me in the middle of a keystroke. So if it takes minutes like this, we might have to drop the stream for now, and we'll come back later. But that's okay. We have some organization done. Like I said, I'll be back in about a week and a half. We can come back and work on it then. Yeah, okay. Not gonna work out today. That's okay. Go to soten.z.dev to learn more, and I'll catch you all sometime in July. Adios.